The Georgia Southern Sports Network resonates throughout the airwaves of the region to bring you Georgia Southern basketball. Danny Reed begins his tenure as the voice of the Eagles with men's basketball and talks about the transition from minor league baseball back to Division I.
The process went really well, getting a chance to work with a lot of people that I had known for around 4 years before I'd even stepped into the chair. The one thing I've always noticed about myself where I'm doing a first game for a school, an organization, or a team, I rarely remember anything about the very first game. So besides the fact that we played Weber International and we beat Weber International, I can't tell you much else about that game because everything, it just keeps spinning, the head goes round and round because you're in there for the first time. You don't know how things are gonna go, but it was a lot of fun, and that was a great night at Hanner.
Being able to be a part of the men's basketball broadcast, doing color commentary, has been a great opportunity this year. Just add something else that I've been able to do here at Georgia Southern. Being able to help bring Danny Reed into Georgia Southern, help him get acclimated to Statesboro, to the Georgia Southern community, the people around the program. It's been a great opportunity.
And I'd been very familiar with the network, having known Chris Blair and so many of the guys on the crew for 4 years. I knew how he had structured things. I knew that he had pretty much built it from the ground up, so I knew a lot of the affiliates. I knew just how much it meant to everybody on the crew, not just the fact that Chris was the one that put it together, but because everybody got along so well. It's as if everybody was on the same page, despite not really being around each other all that much outside of football season, because we have people coming from Savannah, from Macon, other parts of Georgia, and make this all work. But to know that when you can bring a certain number of people together and they can all look at the things the same way, having not been together for very long, that just gives you an indication of how special things get done here with our network.
For basketball, day to day, it's more or less making sure the affiliates are online, know what the schedule is, what time we go on air, 30 minutes prior to tip-off. And then day of the game, it's more setting up the prep work, making sure all the cords are where they need to be, so that when Danny Reed and I get there courtside for the ball game, that all we have to do is put the headset on, start talking, and bring you Georgia Southern basketball.
First of all, with the team, Coach Byington is phenomenal. I was familiar with him from my time at the Citadel, him being at the College of Charleston when he was an assistant under Bobby Cremins, and then when he took over as the interim that 1 year. His assistants all do a wonderful job. Ben Betts, Andrew Wilson, Larry Dixon. I've been friends with Rob Burke for about 5 years. We worked together at the Citadel, and he's a character in himself. Our fans are great. When they pack Hanner Fieldhouse, and the way that it's so close quarters, especially courtside, seeing how our fans can get inside the mind of an opposing team has been pretty interesting, and see how another player can get so affected by some of the things the fans say. Not that it's necessarily bad things that they're saying, but you can just tell that when a player is affected on court by what he hears, that gives Georgia Southern and Hanner Fieldhouse an advantage like few other in the Sun Belt Conference can have. And from getting a chance to work with Colin Lacy, who's been here for a couple years, that's been pretty cool because in terms of being at Georgia Southern, he's got more experience than I do. So I've got to lean on him just as much as I leaned on Chris those couple months that I still had him here.
I think the biggest improvement since I've got here, and this is a tribute to both Chris and Danny over the past couple of years, has been just figuring out how to go about your business, whether that's on air and what needs to be said, what doesn't need to be said, but also off air, how to interact with fans, how to interact with coaches, and just those relationships that you have to build in this business.